Greetings, Explorer. You have landed on the Moonday Monday podcast. This is Phase 5, and I am Spark Vizsla, your guide unto the stars. Now let's get you resupplied, refueled with some knowledge, and a little bit of ranting. For this phase, Lady Selene glides across the stage, but she dances in the southern portion of the sky tonight and is at a waxing gibbous and is swiftly approaching not only full moon, or the full moon of this month is the full corn moon, as Native Americans call it, and she is also approaching perigee, which is when she is closest unto us. Now, typically for today's podcast, we'll be discussing a brief discussion of the Osiris Rex mission, which was a successful liftoff. And SpaceX has been taken care of. Most of this isn't really the traditional format I've been doing. This one is a bit more of a, not a venting, but definitely a rant. If you're just here for my awesome report and news, you can leave after the first 5 minutes, because after that, we definitely will be getting into talking about our place in the stars, or lack thereof. And so for the Osiris Rex mission, it was definitely a successful takeoff, a beautiful launch. If you have not seen the liftoff, if you were not there for the live stream or haven't checked up on it, definitely check it out on YouTube, the Osiris Rex liftoff. Just Google that or Osiris Rex launch. Either way, get that vision into your mind. It was definitely a wonderful takeoff. ULA and the Atlas V rockets definitely were interesting to watch. Given it was an asymmetrical launch, it was kind of awkward watching it. For any of you who have played Kerbal Space Program, you know that it is somewhat possible, but just seeing it is definitely interesting, given we're usually used to engines like the Merlin on SpaceX or even the Soyuz rockets. However, they still made it happen, and again, the plume was beautiful. A lot of photographs out there. If you need something new for your desktop background, go give it a look.
3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff! Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
And so Osiris Rex is a 7-year mission. So we go out for a year, come back for gravity assist, head back out for another year, and then, looky at that. We are at Osiris Rex. But the thing is, it's not just, we're at Osiris Rex and we're just going to sample it and come right back. We stay there for 2 years. We're measuring it, we're studying it, and sending that data back to Earth. And people will wonder, they're just doing this to milk money because NASA is already super expensive. Because, NASA totally makes more than a penny on the dollar of the tax dollar. Actually, they make less than a penny. I think it's not even half of a penny. God damn. Man. So, given that, we definitely are going to be there for a while. This also comes down to the data rate. If you've heard of the Pale Blue Dot. If you have not, it is a book by Carl Sagan. I am reading it for this month. I encourage you to pick it up, the PDF or the audiobook. But right now I'm referring to the picture. So this picture, beautiful, because it really echoes just how young and small we are in the cosmos. However, in that picture, it's beautiful and all, and despite its low quality, that took a good quarter of a year to get back to us. Like you'll see, and even speaking in modern terms, Because people assume, oh, well, that was back then because technology sucked. And it kind of did, but now, the Juno mission, it takes like a while for images to get back from there. Even the Pluto mission, not just due to distance, but given we have better cameras, but not necessarily better transmitting technology, it still takes a while. It can take months or even, in Pluto's case, years to send back that data. Which is why people will say, oh, well, why does Juno send back such crappy photos initially? That's because they're just sending back like a really quick snippet, so we have something to feed our curiosity. But after that, for those HD photos to come, it's gonna take a while. It's like, remember back in the day of DSL, and like when you clicked on it, typed in like yahoo.com, when people still use that, and you like could hit enter, you could walk away, you could make you a sandwich, you could make you some Kool-Aid or whatever you wanted. You could even go out into your backyard, get a lemon, get a lemon, make some lemonade, come back, and would almost be done loading. Similar with technology on spacecraft. Because, oh, well, it kind of, you can't really pack too much on it due to rocket costs. But that's coming down, so we'll see how that adjusts it. But, so that's why we're going to be there for 2 years. It almost took 2 years to explain, but I think it was worth it. So after those 2 years, we're going to spend 5 seconds taking a sample of 60 kilograms and heading on back to Earth. And that's going to take another 2 years roughly. And then bam, we're going to be back here in a total of 7 years. And then it's going to take a while to analyze it, but the methods that came out of that will definitely be good to enrich our knowledge in terms of asteroid mining. However, in terms of asteroid mining, and you've heard my thoughts on it in phase 4 of Moonday Monday or the previous week. And this is something I'm really concerned about because a lot of people hype it up like, oh yeah, your dream of being an asteroid miner might be coming true. I'm here to tell you that may not be true. And I don't mean that in a pessimistic way, but we definitely need to look at, oh, okay, well, how can we actually pull this off? Because let's say, actually, I'm just going to like break here just to let you know, we're going off into the twilight zone of talking about space mining. And this is my own personal thought on it. So, let's say right now, Deep Space Industries, love those guys and gals, just came up with something right now. Okay. And let's say they had their miner ready to go. Alright, well, the interesting thing is, well, and there's a lot of details that aren't even, like, finalized on their miner, so there's questions that simply cannot even be asked. However, okay, so you get it, and, well, they go up and they go to an asteroid. Let's assume they have like a small payload for starters to save on rocket fuel costs, but just enough to make up possibly for those rocket fuel costs. All right, well, they get there, and, well, Bennu took 7 years, but, I'm sorry, Osiris Rex took 7 years. So let's try and break this one down. For starters, I could foresee them being roughly around 3 to 5 years. I would hope sooner, and this definitely comes down to, and this is assuming we're going to the asteroid belt per se, and then coming back. So, alright, we get there, and we spend a bunch of years out there, and then we come back. Alright, well, if you asked an investor, hey, give me a bunch of money so I can maybe bring back a profit in a couple of years, that's what most people do anyway, so that's pretty natural. But, you go there, let's say the asteroid we wanted to mine wasn't as prosperous as we thought it was, which is a very likely thing. Well, okay, and people may just say, why not go to the next asteroid, which is a pretty smart move. Except in reality, asteroids tend to be about roughly 100 million miles apart. So you got to propel yourself there, and that propulsion method, whatever it may be, um, be it Orion thrusters, solid fuel. Well, I don't know why you would be doing that in space. Whatever. Let's say you just use whatever to get there. All right, you're there. Actually, the solid fuel does actually kind of make sense. I'm sorry. My apologies. That reflects my ignorance. So they're 100 million miles apart. And let's say if we wanted to go to the next one, which initially sounds like a good idea, is going to take a while, regardless of whichever propulsion method we use with modern technology. So we get there, all right, that one, it's a little bit better. So then we mine it. Let's say we get, can't even say 100 kilograms. Let's say we get a 7 feet of asteroid, let's say. And then we bring it back. All right, cool. That was great and all. Would it warrant a continuation of such missions commercially? Because, oh, okay, let's say you do get there, and let's say that 7 by 7 asteroid is 7 by 7. That's going to be roughly. All right, let's say you get a good 50 to 100 million out of that. Okay, that's great. You've almost covered your launch cost. That doesn't include the construction cost of construction for your mining machine. Because remember, people, it is a private business, so they're not getting money just by existing. They're getting money by going to asteroids. So even though they had enough to make that initial mining rig, they have to either A, if they have it come back into orbit, which I think is somewhat crazy, then okay, they gotta have a whole process of cleaning it off, rebuilding it, salvaging it, and then shooting it back off. All right, or packing it onto a rocket and shooting it back off, similar to the space shuttle. It's doable, no doubt, but from there, it becomes a question of, oh, okay, well, is this method really going to be viable in the long run? And this is really interesting because, all right, while we're up there, we have to have a method that makes it viable. Not just, oh, we just come back, and park it on the ground. No, 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 no. I feel either A, um, unless we have like a lunar mining facility, we would have to have something in Earth orbit for the mining rig to come back to. And that's just one way. We aren't at the level to where we can just simply sit the mining rig out there and have it mine and shoot off cargo back to Earth. That in itself, I could see easily be weaponized. I think I've just thought of the next plot to the next James Bond movie. Please refer to this podcast if that does become a thing. You know what? Forget it. I'm just going to write it. Anywho, so, alright, we're not at the level to shoot back cargo. So we'd have to go up there and then take it back. Well, if we aren't parking in space, this is going to be very difficult. So this is where cue music, commercial space stations come in. And I don't mean the cheesy ones that you've seen by like Biggie Low. Okay, I'm not knocking Biggie Low, but they definitely aren't, and I don't think anybody's going to be Star Trek level at this age, but they aren't like, oh, super fancy and whatnot. They're meant more so, of like science and research and whatnot, and they look pretty basic. But for the asteroid mining one, it's like, oh, okay, you would have to have a processing plant, not necessarily a processing plant, but you probably would have some like in orbit mechanic to help break it apart and get it ready for shipment to Earth. Due to the less gravity, it's going to be easier to break apart and work with. So you definitely would want to do that, if not at the asteroids orbit, definitely in Earth orbit. So okay, so you have to have like a docking facility on the space station. You have to have a processing facility, possible living quarters, and that's pretty interesting because, oh, okay, we now have a system that works on actual space operations. And not just, oh, like the International Space Station. I love the thing, I'm not knocking it, but at the moment we just shoot up research projects, astronauts, and student projects, which is all cool and all, like Heck, we even had a DNA sequencer up there to see the effects of low gravity on DNA sequencing. Those haven't been released quite yet, but we aren't doing things like, oh, we made this. Oh, okay, well, we are doing things. We are doing things. But it's not beyond the Earth. It's just, okay, the space station and it stays on the Earth. It doesn't act as a gateway, as many of us have hoped. And that's understandable. But whoever builds the right space station definitely isn't just going to have, oh, a lot of business. They are going to have a legacy because they have opened the way to the stars. So, and once we have that gateway open, where do we go? I mean, sure, Mars and Venus are all really nice options, but that's I've noticed where people stop talking. um, when we start to speak of Interstellar, thanks to Chris Nolan, we kind of stop talking as well because it's like, yeah, we'll go to other planetary systems, but we don't have some black hole generator or wormhole. Well, alright, Interstellar just got a bit further away. I see us, and now this is going to get really crazy. If you thought that my previous rants were off the wall, you know what? Just strap in, explore, and get ready for the ride. I foresee a 5 billion year plan, one in which we are hand in hand with the Andromeda Galaxy and expanding to its planets. Now, that's a pretty bold statement because, oh, for one, we don't even have a map of our own galaxy. And I know that sounds kind of odd because growing up, you've always seen a map of the Milky Way, but do your research. I'll try and throw some links into the show notes. Those always get overlooked due to the poor uh, decentralized system of podcasting. But it, we can't see beyond the galactic core because huge black hole distorts light and just a bunch of objects in the way. Okay, understandable. And I mean, try and think of one person put it really well. Try and map your house by just sitting in your room. Welcome to the Milky Way. And so we don't even have a complete map of our own galaxy yet. Well, I can't say it needs to change because that's not going to necessarily affect daily life in a huge way. For some people, it definitely will enlighten them and whatnot, and definitely encourage quite a few. But overall, it wouldn't immediately affect us per se, but it would affect advancements because we know, oh, okay, this is there, that's there. But we don't even have that yet. And I know 4 billion years sounds like a long time, but if you think about it, isn't a lifetime a long time? Because if we're just, let's say we're 100 years in a galaxy that's going to live for 5 trillion years, if this is taking on the non-theist view or rather a non-afterlife view of life. Let's say this is all we have. That would be the equivalent of the universe. And okay, wow, this is going pretty deep, but if we just have 100 years and the galaxy has 4 trillion years, if we swap those two around, a lifetime is a lifetime regardless of how long it is. And there are definitely, I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast and you've lived long enough, you've witnessed some lifetimes that have been shortened wrongfully. So, that even with that, though, like your lifetime, once it ends, even if it were right now, in a sense, you have lived for an eternity within your own mind because you've lived from the beginning to the end, no matter how long or short it is, and you've seen the complete and fullness of your life. Again, not the most enlightening thing, but same thing with the universe. I'm sure it could go for more than several trillion years, I'm pretty sure. But that's its limit, just like this is our limit. So let's take advantage of both of these limits and start making a world where, oh, okay, we live for 100, well, possibly in the next few, if not decades, definitely few centuries, if we do not ourselves up, we definitely will be able to advance to the stars. And 1,000 years to colonize Mars? Psh, no big deal. 1,000 years to get to the next interstellar planet? No big deal. Because we'll live long enough to where that won't really matter. And let's say right now everybody woke up and we all lived for 1,000 years, or could live for 1,000 years, it was found out. I'm pretty sure that would have huge implications. I'm not even going to get into that, but we definitely would start thinking, oh, well, crap, I'm going to be around for 1,000 years, so I guess I better start acting like global warming is a thing. And not even saying necessarily that you have to believe in it, but understanding your role in the environment. That's my only view on it. Okay, well, maybe we should get better technology, not even to save the environment, just so we have more options when we expand. For example, if we totally didn't care about solar energy and we tried to go to the stars, well, oh, our expansion into the stars would be pretty difficult. However, okay, we have solar energy, we've been working on that, made some breakthroughs to where we have just about 40%, 40 to 50% energy intake. Okay, that makes expansion a lot easier. But if we don't look at those options, that makes it a lot harder. And I'm going to wrap up the rant. But pretty much, we really need to invest in a global strategy. Actually, I'm sorry, a cosmic strategy for not just humans, but just for, darn, I want to say for humanity, but I kind of feel within the next 1,000 years, if we do pursue space colonization and expansion, it's going to be more than just humans and humanity that are working together and possibly working against each other. So, whoever comes after us definitely is going to have to embrace those issues, but we have to look at those issues today as well. I'm going to wrap up this rant. I want you to enjoy your Moonday, Monday, or whatever day you happen to be listening to this podcast on, and definitely make the best of it. If you've listened this far, thank you very much, truly. But I want you to go away with something in your mind. I want you to go away knowing that whatever you do today, it may not seem like a whole lot. It may not seem as if you're making a huge difference in the world. But your actions echo for millennia and eons. For example, and the photons bouncing, reflecting off of your body, are bounced back into space, and let's say an alien civilization, a billion, let's say a billion light years away, or however far, they had a really powerful telescope, and 100 billion years later, they looked down through their imaging telescope or whatever, and they saw you. Even though you may be long gone, 100 billion years later, you are still within the cosmos. And you are now in the minds of an alien species long into the future. Oh, wow, that was totally mispronounced. Yeah, pretty much, even after death, you still go on. Yourself, you are gone, but the self continues. And make sure, and you don't have to act like all super Zen Buddhist monk or all samurai or anything like that, but definitely understand, like, it may not seem like it today, but you do matter in a way that you have not even imagined yet. And I hope you find the day when you do get to see